I want to explain a little known custom, at least it's little known outside of the Hasidic community, of Upsherin, where you look at little boys and you can't tell if they're boys or girls in the Hasidic community until after they're 3. And the reason is that their hair is not cut until after they're 3. Now, why is this? Well, one person explained to me it's because the head is not completely sealed, and it would be dangerous to cut their hair until the part up here grows together, which I don't believe is the real reason. Some people say it's based on a superstition that the sorceress Lilith is out there hunting for little boys. You want to disguise the boys as girls until they're strong enough, but that's also not real. The main reason given by the mystics who started this, the Kabbalists, originally 16th century, and then it was popularized by hasidim in the 18th century, is to compare little boys to Torah. And the Torah is called Tree of Life. And trees, according to the Torah, you're not allowed to eat their fruit for the first 3 years. It's called Orla. In fact, there's an interesting issue. I was once at an agricultural development place in Israel, and the scientists there said that they're always trying to convince the rabbis that the products that they're producing, which are world-famous innovations, are coming from bushes and not trees, so they have to follow the Orla laws. Anyway, that's a side issue. And so since you don't eat the fruit of the trees for the 3 years, so you don't cut a boy's hair for the first 3 years. And when it's finally cut, there's a big ceremony called Upsherin, which is a Yiddish word which means to cut or shear. And it's usually done on Lag BaOmer, which is the 33rd day of the 49-day period between the second night of Passover and Shavuot. And if you're in Israel, most people go to Mount Meron, to the grave near Shimon Bar Yochai, who's supposed to be the author of the Zohar. He really wasn't. It was written much later, but that's what they believe. They have a big party. I've only been to a couple of Upsherin, usually Hasidic families, and different people there get a chance to cut some of the hair. They cut the hair, except they leave the payas, the side curls, and I'll explain a little bit about the payas. Paya means corner, and the Torah says you have to leave the corner of your fields for the poor, and you also can't shave the corners of your beard. Now, we believe the reason is because the ancient Canaanite priests used to cut their beard in certain ways, but the Torah doesn't say that, and there are some Jews who follow it literally, and so they grow their payas long. You may have seen that. For example, my relatives, the Bratslaver, have really long payas, and they curl them up. And it even says in the books that you can, if you're going on business, you don't want to have your payas too obvious, you can tie them over your head under your hat, which is kind of interesting. But when they do cut the hair of these little boys, they leave the payas grow so that the side curls can continue growing. Now, as soon as the boy is 3, and you don't have to do it on their birthday, since it's not a law, it's a custom. You can do it any time. Usually throw a party. It's customary to give tzedakah, bring presents, people serve food. Then the boy receives he's now a big boy, so he gets his kippah and tzitzit, which he wears all the time. He begins his Torah study. So that is Upsherin. In English, it's Upsherin. In Yiddish, it's spelled Aleph, Pei, Shin, Ayin, Resh, Nun, Sofit. Upsherin, and that's the ceremony of cutting the boy's hair at the age of 3.